If you've ever missed paying an important bill, you know how convenient it is to set up an automatic bill payment so that a creditor can reach in your bank account and take what you owe on time. But what if you want to stop an automatic bank payment? Well, maybe you have a dispute with the company taking money out of your account, or you simply would rather spend it on something much more important like food, or rent, or medicine. Hi, I'm Jeff Hoyt, Editor-in-Chief of SeniorLiving.Org. Former bankruptcy attorney Eric Olsen knows a lot about how banks and creditors operate. Today, Eric heads the Helps nonprofit law firm, which helps low-income seniors and others who are struggling financially. In this video, Eric explains the different ways an automatic bank payment could be set up, why seniors and others might want to stop an automatic bank payment, the easiest way to go about it without incurring fees, and what to do if you don't trust the creditor, or you have to do it at the very last minute. Use this knowledge to protect your money. Because Eric is in Oregon and I'm in California, we'll conduct the interview over Zoom. Hey, it's Jeff Hoyt, Editor-in-Chief of SeniorLiving.Org. And today, once again, I have the pleasure of speaking with Eric Olsen. Eric is an attorney. He's the founder and executive director of the Helps nonprofit law firm. They help seniors, veterans, and others who are struggling with debt. So welcome, Eric.
Glad to be here with you again, Jeff.
Thanks for taking the time. I want to talk to you about something about banking. Now, used to be you'd worry about missing a payment to the electric company or the cable bill. And now they've set up a way where you can set up what they call an automatic bank payment, where the business can just reach in and take out the $40 bill, take it directly out so you don't remember, you don't have to worry about late fees and things like that. But setting up an automatic bank payment can also bite you in the butt, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it can.
First of all, why would people want to stop an automatic bank payment after they set it up?
There's a lot of reasons why you want to stop a lot of that automatic bank payment. You don't have to do an automatic bank payment. That's the first thing I would say. If you have a loan or something, there can't be a requirement if you're getting a loan. There's a federal law that prohibits that. Okay. But it can be convenient for a lot of people. Have it come out automatically. Don't have to worry about it every month. So there's a real convenience for it. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons why you might want to stop it. Maybe you've changed to a different bank, okay, for some reason. And you need to get it switched over to another bank. So you want to stop it, or you're going to switch it over to a different bank. You don't, because there's not any money going to that old bank account. Okay, so that'd be maybe the date that the loan is set to come out isn't the best date, and you want to change the date, or you just want to change it, period. Maybe you got a dispute with the person that's taking the money out, and you don't want to pay it anymore. You want to have some control over your funds. Maybe for some reason, there isn't going to be money in your account on that date. And you're worried that your bank, if you're a good customer of your bank might pay it and charge you an NSF fee. Okay.
And what do you mean by an NSF fee?
Non-sufficient funds. Your bank, if you're a good customer and there's an automatic payment, they have the discretion to pay it, knowing that you're going to pay them back for that money out of your next deposit. But when they pay it on your behalf, that's a non-sufficient funds, and they could charge you a $50, $60 fee for doing that. That's
even on a $40 bill.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. That's how banks make money on all these fees they charge on your account. See, a lot of times a collection agency will want you to set up an automatic payment. Okay. And then you decide, I can't afford to pay that anymore. And, you want to stop it. Or maybe you simply it's a debt you simply can't afford to pay, or you can't afford to pay that amount that you're proposing to pay. Seniors' income is protected. It can't be taken, even if they're sued, even if they're sued and protecting their bank account, except if they voluntarily give someone authority to take money out of their bank account. So I mean, there's a lot of reasons why you might want to stop an automatic payment.
And just to be clear, seniors may want to pay their bills and they may pay a regular amount every month to a service and then say, hey, I've run out of savings. I need this money for groceries. I need this money for medicine or medical treatment or something. And so they may want to stop this automatic payment because they have other more important bills to pay.
That's right. And there may be some automatic payments they want to stay in place. Maybe they want to keep paying their light bill or their garbage bill. It comes out automatically, maybe a cable bill or something like that. But maybe these other ones they want to stop. Yeah.
And for me personally, I just set up an internet payment that's auto pay. And the reason I set it up is because it's the same every month and they're going to knock some money off the bill if I set up the auto pay. But with my phone bill, that can change every month. And I don't want to give them the right to my bank account if I'm going to dispute something, say, hey, I didn't make these calls. I don't want to pay this $300 charge I never heard of, because the money's gone before I even noticed that, hey, I've been charged for something that I didn't deserve to pay for. So
exactly right. When it's gone, you're not going to get it back.
As you said, there's many different reasons why you might want to stop an automatic bank payment. And as you mentioned with seniors, we've talked about this before, the bank account is protected in terms of a judgment. If someone sues them, they may not be able to get their Social Security out of their bank account. But if they've set up an automatic payment, you are giving the right to someone to do that. So let's say they want to take away that right. What's the easy way to stop an automatic bank payment?
Let's say, for example, you have an automatic payment going to a credit card. You can telephone the credit card company and tell them you want to stop the automatic payment. They're unlikely they're going to ask you why. They normally want to do that. People do that all the time. They stop automatic payments or change the way they're making a credit card payment all the time. But if they ask you why, just say you're making other arrangements. You're going to pay them by check, or you're going to change to a different bank, or whatever you want to give. You don't have to give them a reason. I'd be surprised if they ask you that. The other way to do it is if you can get online and make the change online.
Sorry, when you say online, you mean online to the creditor, not the bank, correct?
Yeah, online to the creditor. Sometimes they say, oh, you can follow up with in writing to that creditor, but if it's a legitimate creditor, like a credit card or bank loan or something like that, and you get through to someone and they say, yeah, okay, probably don't need to follow up with the writing. They're gonna honor it and stop the automatic payment. I mean, there shouldn't be a problem.
So is a creditor, like a credit card company, are they legally required to follow your request? If you filled out an auto pay and then you call them up and say, I don't want to pay through auto pay anymore, are they required to do that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they are.
So some companies are more credible than other companies. If you did make the mistake of giving permission to a company that you no longer trust, how can you make sure they'll stop taking money out through an auto pay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then what do you do?
Let's say it's maybe a payday loan, or it's a high interest lender, or there's some type of creditors you won't want to call on the phone to ask them to stop taking the automatic payment. You might be scared what they're going to say to you. Okay. So there's another way of doing it, and that's by contacting your bank. Okay. And you tell your bank that you want to revoke authorization for the company to take the automatic payment from your account. Okay. Now the bank's going to charge you for doing that. 15, 25, 35, maybe more dollars with inflation. I don't know. For each stop payment order. And you can usually do that by calling the bank. You can do it over the phone, but it's also a good idea to follow up by giving them notice in writing. Now, here's the problem. If you're going to stop a payment, you want to do it at least 3 days before the payment's going to stop. More the merrier. Okay. The bank sometimes will tell you, well, we can't guarantee it's going to stop in time, especially if you're close to 3 days before the bank payment's going to come out. Okay. But we'll talk about that in a second. But so how do you revoke authorization in writing? It's pretty simple. Okay. There's really no form letter for it to do it. You just send a letter to your bank and you put down your bank account number, and you say something like, I'm sending this stop payment order, instruct you to stop making payments from my bank account, put the account number, to name the person it's going to, my account number with the company is, you can give that to your bank and say, I wish to stop all future payments. Normally that's what you want to do. You could just stop one payment if you wanted to. And then you could put, I expect the amount they're going to debit is going to be X amount of dollars out of my account, and it's going to happen when it's going to happen. And then you sign it and you date it and you send it. Doesn't need to be sent by certified mail. Keep a copy for yourself, but that puts the bank on written notice that you've revoked authorization for that to come out. If you've got a creditor or someone that you have automatic payments to that you're worried that isn't going to honor you by you calling them on the phone to stop it, you need to revoke authorization with your own bank to do that. And you can do that, call them on the phone, and then better yet, to follow up with a letter in writing too.
So making a phone call is pretty easy to do, but there's no record of what was said during the phone call. So do you suggest then following up a phone call with a written request to stop an auto pay?
Yeah, most of the times the banks are pretty good with just a phone call, but yeah, to be safe, you'd want to revoke the authorization for the money to come out in writing. So, that would be, you got a payday lender, a high interest lender, collection agency that you gave their account to. Yeah, they're all difficult to deal with. And if you tried to ever call them to stop the automatic payment, they'll intimidate you. And they might even refuse. I mean, so just don't even bother calling them. Just deal directly with your bank or credit union to have to stop. That's what you need to do.
So you don't trust the creditor. You're not sure if they're going to follow your request to stop payment. You reach out to the bank and they say, hey, we really can't guarantee it. It's too close to the pay date. Is there something else a senior can do to make sure that money does not leave their bank account if they don't want it to?
Let's say that the payment is supposed to come out in 2 days and you don't have time to stop the payment. And maybe it's $300 or $400 and you don't have it there.
Or you have it, but you need it for something else.
Well, the nuclear option is just go in and close your bank account out. Okay, we'll talk about debit cards in a second, but I mean, you go in and close your bank account out and you can open up and then that way, if that ACH comes in, your bank account is closed. There's no fee that's charged to you because your bank account's closed. Okay. And then you can open up a new bank account with your bank. Okay. And then the creditor or whoever's taking that automatically out won't have access to that checking account number to be able to take your money out. Okay. So that now, if it's a debit card, it's a little bit simpler. Okay. I mean, have you ever lost a debit card?
No, I haven't lost a debit card yet.
I just call the bank, go in the bank and say, hey, I can't find my debit card. Cancel it. They'll cancel it on the spot. And they'll give you a brand new temporary debit card right then. If you go in the bank. It doesn't have my name on it, but it's just like a regular debit. You just run through the machine, takes a few minutes. So yeah, if you have a debit card, I mean, you could cancel the debit card. You probably just call the bank, say, hey, I want to cancel this immediately. And they'll probably cancel the debit card immediately for you. So that way they won't have access to your debit card. So it's important to know if it's coming out automatically out of your checking account directly through an ACH or a debit card. There's a difference. And a lot of times they'll want it to come out of your bank account with an ACH. Now it's a form you signed that gave them authority. And that's the kind where you can get charged a fee if there's not money in there. So nuclear option is just close the account out. Or on a debit card, just cancel the debit card. That way, when they go to draw the money out of the debit card's no longer any good that you gave them. But you still got a new debit card because you went to the bank and got a brand new one with a new debit card. See, the debit card number is not the same number as on your checking account. It's totally different.
I'd say most consumers wouldn't know if an auto pay was through an ACH or a debit card, but the bank should know. Can't they tell you if you ask them?
Yeah, you can. If you don't want the money to come out, you've got to stop the payment. Now, let me talk about a problem that can happen. If you got an automatic payment and you put a stop payment ongoing with your bank, let's say, and it's an ACH where they have, see, the thing with an ACH, they know your checking account number, the routing number, and your actual checking account number. So the bank, they can make a mistake. They can revoke authorization. But what happens if this payday lender or this high interest lender, a couple of months down the road, tries to get into your account again? And they might, and they can. I've had any number of clients tell me the bank tells them, you know, you may just want to close this bank account down and open a new account because sometimes we make a mistake and we'll take it out. And the problem you got is you go to the bank and say, hey, I revoked authorization. I paid you this fee and you took it out. Okay, try getting the money back from their bank and having them admit that there was a mistake. Can be pretty difficult. Okay, it's hard to sue them, can't sue them. So if it's a high interest outfit and if it's a significant amount of money, you may want to just close the bank account out. Now, that can be a headache for people because maybe you've got automatic payments going to other people that you want to pay. Not the end of the world to get a new bank account. It's not the end of the world, okay? And it's not the end of the world to change and have automatic payments going to those smaller bills that you want to pay regularly each month. Maybe a garbage bill, electric bill, or something like that. But, you know, you can shut the bank account down. But normally you revoke authorization, you can count on the bank that would be ongoing. But if it's a high interest place, you might want to consider just changing the account or some type of collection agency. Now, and if you've been scammed by any means, or you've given your account to someone you're suspicious of, as soon as you can, close that bank account down. You got to do that. Or debit card, because they'll do anything they can to try to get at the money. I talk to people about this all the time.
So I've never lost a debit card, but I have had credit cards used without my permission, which means I have to get a whole new card and a whole new number. And some of my auto pays on the old credit card will still go through for a few months on the new card. So are bank accounts the same? Is it possible if I close my bank account and open up a new one under a new number that an old auto pay could work under the new number?
That's right. Your name has nothing to do with it. It's the number. It's the numbers. So it's all processed electronically by number, not name. And so if the numbers don't match with the account that you have that's good, it's not going to be honored.
So let me see if I got this straight. You can ask the creditor, hey, let's stop with the auto pay. And if they're reputable, they'll honor it. Or you can go to the bank and say, stop the auto pay with a phone call and then follow it up with a letter. But if there's a creditor you don't trust and you really want to make sure they don't take your money, that you need it for something else, your best bet is to close that bank account and open up a new one. And that way there's no way they can get into that new account to take the money that you don't want to give them.
That's a really good summary of what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
great.
I mean, there's the law says they can't take it again, but then there's real life mistakes happen. And, you know, for some seniors, taking $300 or $400 out of $1,200 Social Security income is devastating. So you don't want that to happen.
Well, on that note, Eric, I think we should wrap things up. Thanks for your time. And viewers, I hope you'll take this advice, because if you follow Eric's advice, you could save yourself some headaches, some heartaches, and bottom line, save yourself some money.
You bet. Thanks for having me, Jeff. We'll talk to you later.